Hello, this is a tutorial for installing Ubuntu on Windows 11. So first things first, let's go ahead and type in Ubuntu. And this will take us to ubuntu.com. Make sure it says HTTPS. Once we're here, we want to go to the download section and select Ubuntu desktop and select whatever version. That's LTS. This will start the download automatically. It is a pretty big file at 3.4 gigabytes, so let's go ahead and move on to downloading our virtual machine. So we can use VirtualBox, and we can go ahead and download that, selecting the Windows host. So let's go ahead and go through the installation process. Because I already have it installed, let me go ahead and remove that. A few more seconds. All right, so let's start this from the beginning and select next. By default, it will select your C drive, but you can go ahead and select any other path. I will leave that as is. I will remove all the entries from the quick bar and the menu entries. I will select next. I will install. So this should be pretty quick depending on your internet connection. You'll see that your Ubuntu is coming up. All right, if not, we can just wait around a little bit and until you're ready to move on to the next step. So let's go ahead and start the VirtualBox. All right, looks like I had something. So when we first open VirtualBox, we'll be here. So as one thing to keep in mind is you have to make sure that your processor allows you to use virtualization. If it does not, this will not work. It's actually one of the issues I had earlier, and I had to resolve that for my AMD processor. So from here, we're going to go to New. We're going to label this whatever you want to label it. I'm going to call it my Ubuntu. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select next. So make sure that your type and your version is there. We can also manually click on it. All right. So from there, I'll continue. It says that the default should be 1 gig. If you don't plan on doing anything too intense, 1 gig should be fine. If not, make sure that you don't exceed your current system memory, and you can always change this in the future. Now for the drive, this will create a virtual hard drive or SSD, and you want to make sure that this is a pretty good size depending on what you want to use the Linux machine for, as resizing this is usually a little bit problematic in my experience, and so I don't recommend it. Basically, if you've ever done partitioning, it's basically you will end up having to do some kind of partitioning aspects if you don't pick the right size. So here I'm just going to go with everything normal, dynamic, and I will select about, I think 100 should be fine for my use cases. All right, now that I have it here, I want to go ahead and select start. This will prompt you for what do you want. Since I already had something there, it's saying it's not accessible. So let's go ahead and add this and select the one that you just download, and go ahead and select choose. So everything should look pretty good. As you can see, it's going to the C drive, user, downloads, and it found Ubuntu. So I will now select start, and it will ask us if we want to install. I will say yes. At this point, I'm going to enlarge the window. All right, now let's go through the installation process. Download updates, normal install. I also do recommend installing any graphics and Wi-Fi hardware. If if this was no, this one's fine. We should be good here. If you were actually installing onto your computer, I would recommend it, especially if you have newer hardware. It just works really well. All right, erase and install. So this is all within the virtual machine, so no worries, it will not delete your computer. All right, label as it is. I'm going to call this Ubuntu. Don't wanna, yeah, it's gonna, you can choose whatever password you'd like. All right, now it's doing the last little bit. We should be finishing up and we'll have access to the desktop. All right, installation is complete, so we can now restart, and this will restart the virtual machine. Make sure you press your keyboard enter. All right, so here we go. I will select my user, enter the password I had created. And that is all. We are here. We are done with the installation. So we can go down to settings. So as you can see, we're on a wired connection. We can go to backgrounds, change our backgrounds to whatever we'd like. What I like to do is definitely go to display and change it to something more appropriate. I do have a display that's bigger than 1080p, so I'm able to utilize that, and it looks a lot better with clarity. And there we are. Here's your home, and we get to enjoy Ubuntu along with our Windows operating system. Hopefully you found this useful, and if you like it, go ahead and leave a like and a comment.